Now let's go to that developing flood situation in North Queensland, where floodwaters are expected to peak any moment now, taking more homes underwater. Let's bring in 9 Queensland reporter Pat Heaney in Townsville. Pat, residents are being warned to stay away.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And that's because those black zone suburbs that border the Ross River still look like this. These floodwaters are not going away. They've been like this for a number of days. They've actually come back a little bit overnight. That's because we only received around 50 millimetres rather than the 100 or 200 that was predicted. But authorities are still concerned that all these low-lying homes, over 100 of them through these suburbs, could still be inundated in the next few hours. And that might seem like a lot of water to come, but there's big dam releases on the cards. There's obviously a high tide that comes mid-morning and potentially more rain or forecast rain this morning. So it will be an anxious wait for Townsville residents. It's not just Townsville either, the people of Ingham too. Floodwaters there are receding. That's about an hour north of Townsville, but it's cut off. The Bruce Highway is cut. The only access is by air, and that is also difficult. Thousands of people there misplaced, thousands of homes inundated, thousands of people without power. It will be a tough couple of days, weeks and months for people of Ingham. Here's what the Premier had to say.
We're going to be here for the long haul. You're going to have communities that are really tested. They're resilient communities, I can assure you of that, but resilience doesn't mean you just leave them on their own devices. They're going to need a lot of help in the days, weeks, months and even years ahead.
So as I said, guys, it is crunch time for Townsville in the next few hours. It was predicted about an hour from now that we would see the peak of these floodwaters. That might be pushed back a bit given we haven't seen that rain, and that peak may come back a bit. But with those dam releases and that high tide coming around mid-morning, it will be an anxious wait for Townsville residents.
Yeah, very anxious time, Pat. Thank you. 100 homes are expected to be underwater in North Queensland this morning, with authorities warning the dangers are far from over. Let's bring in 9 Queensland weather expert Gary Youngbury at Tully, north of Euramo. Gary, what is the situation where you are?
Well, Jane, we're waiting for the sun to rise this morning just to check out to see how much the floodwaters have actually risen. Very heavy rain overnight. We're on the northern side of this low pressure system, and the rain was actually heaviest on the northern side overnight. About 2 hours south of Cairns, but that now extends inland. About a few hundred kilometres west of here, there's been 125 millimetres around Georgetown. And just to show how extensive this weather system is 1,000 kilometres to the west of us, Mount Isa now, some very heavy rain and around 70 millimetres. Julia Creek, 70 millimetres. So we really don't need a severe tropical cyclone to cause this sort of damage. In fact, the only difference would be the wind speed. A very large low pressure system with this weather warning that still extends really here in Tully all the way south of around Townsville. There was still some heavy rain overnight around Ingham through to Townsville, but the falls have been a little bit lighter. At least it is starting to ease back, but there will be further river rises. Several hundred homes still underwater, and I think that situation will get a little worse. I have been checking the charts as well, Jane, for the next few days, and there is still a chance we could see anywhere between 300 and 500 millimetres over the next sort of 6 to 7 days. So this flood situation is far from over yet.
OK, Gary, thank you.
I'd like to first ask you about the flood emergency devastating your home state of Queensland. The immediate threat is, of course, safety. But beyond that, there'll be a huge recovery and rebuild. Is Queensland receiving the federal resources it needs?
Yes, it is. You know, Queenslanders are tough and resilient people, but we know that these are anxious days. And Australians are there for each other in difficult times like this, and the federal government will be there for people as well, working closely with the Queensland government. I've already spoken this morning with Jenny McAllister, who's our Emergencies Minister. We are working very closely with the Queensland government. We've got ADF personnel already helping in Townsville. We've provided military helicopters to help reach isolated communities. The assistance payments are flowing and people should check their eligibility. But we're helping in every way that we can. Yeah. Rivers are still rising, roads are cut, electricity and water supplies are affected. And when the time comes to count the cost of another natural disaster in North and far North Queensland, we will be there to help with the rebuild as well. That will be expensive, but our primary focus, as you rightly point out, is the people and the communities affected and making sure that people are safe.
Thousands in Far North Queensland are being warned the worst is yet to come as flooding emergency grips the region.
With thousands of homes without power, families are being urged to heed the advice of emergency services. Queensland Premier David Crisafulli joins us now in Townsville. Premier, thanks so much for your time. We know just how devastated those communities are. You've gone to see the floods for yourself. What is the latest on this emergency?
Good news overnight in Townsville. So the Ross River behind me has gone from major to moderate, and that is as a result of a really good night of minimal rainfall here. The Bureau has tightened the weather warning area between, it's now Yabulu, which is north of Townsville, through to Cardwell. That remains the zone that's had the bulk of the damage, and we're going to be here for the long haul, I can assure you. And I'm here on the ground because I have to make sure what we say needs to be delivered is delivered, because you're going to have communities that are really, really tested. They're resilient communities, I can assure you of that, but resilience doesn't mean you just leave them on their own devices. They're going to need a lot of help in the days, weeks, months and even years ahead.
You've got some dramas north of you, as you rightly point out, where your family comes from around Ingham. Already a couple of days without power. Anyone who's been through that knows how much anxiety that produces inside a family. Any idea when the situation peaks for them and when power can be restored eventually?
Yeah, Carl, the Herbert River peak is starting to come down, but when I say come down, from historic levels. As a kid growing up, 1967 was always the flood that my parents spoke about, the one that we wouldn't see again or unlikely to. Well, this went levels really, really close to that. I've seen images of water in businesses in the main street that I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd see. I know people have had their homes, their business and their farm all impacted. So it's devastating, and you're right, they're without power, have been for a couple of days. Across the broader region, there's now under 10,000 people without power, which is the most amazing job. We've pre-positioned about 300 crews from the energy provider ahead of it, and so they've been on the ground. They've done an amazing job, but the bulk of those outages is Ingham, as you talk about. There's about 6,500 customers without power, and the substation, the main provider of power, is the issue. So I'm looking at other options and working with the Energy Minister. We've just got to get that community back on, because they will begin the clean-up today. It's hot. It's going to be really trying conditions, and the ability to be able to try to get power back on in the days ahead will really mean the difference between their morale being able to live through this.
Yeah, Premier, you talk about the damage there. Obviously, we've seen the Bruce Highway cut in half as well, and I know, Carl, that your mum's having issues with, we're talking about supply issues here at supermarkets. Yeah,
Mum took some vision, Premier. This is Cairns. This is a long way from the epicentre of this disaster. So this is the local Woolies. Bare shelves everywhere, and as Sarah points out, Bruce Highway is cut, so there are big dramas in just trying to supply people with the basics.
Yeah, the supermarket said they did bring some supplies in early ahead of it. We'll see whether or not they are able to get that from the warehouses to the supermarkets, but you're right, there's going to be challenges, and if ever you need a proof point about how ridiculous the state of the Bruce Highway is, and how you've got so many thousands of people at the mercy of one road, and it's one road that just has not had the investment in for generations, for absolute generations. And look, I'm very grateful. We've finally got commitments, and from both sides of Canberra, to do something about it, and we're mapping out a 10-year plan, and we're going to start delivering those pinch points. But have a look at the vision from Olera Creek, which is around Rolling Stone, halfway between Ingham and Townsville. That bridge has been cut in two. Now, the last thing you want to do is replace that bridge to the same standard in the same location and expect a different result. And my determination is to make sure that all levels of government come together, and let's build some resilience into that, and let's use it as an example of what Queenslanders and indeed Australians can do after disaster. Let's find a way to build back better, what I call betterment, and it can be done. And I'd like this disaster to be an opportunity for some good to come from heartache. And that road project would be it.
We've got to roll on, but just really super quickly, how long is it going to take to fix that road?
The advice is it could take some time. I want to throw the kitchen sink at it, because the last thing you want is a lack of connectivity. So we'll know a little bit more in the days ahead. But believe me, it is a top priority for me.
So many challenges ahead.
Yeah, thank you for joining us this morning.